Hello and welcome to my March-April newsletter video update. The markets have continued to power ahead and remain in their uptrends, and I have lots to share with you in this video, including an update on my weekly system and daily system trades. If you missed my last newsletter video, you can view it from my website or my YouTube channel. Now before I get started, I just need to remind you that I'm not licensed to provide any personal investment advice. This video and all the charts and trades I share with you are for illustrative purposes only, and I'm just showing you how I view the current market and sharing this with you. So let's move on over and check out what's been happening in the market of late. On the screen here I've got Metastock open with a chart of the ASX 200. Now as you can see, the ASX 200 has continued to stay in this uptrend. It has had some hesitation and built up a resistance at this point here. The good news is it's held the $5,000 resistance level from the past, which it had great difficulty bursting through and holding at one stage over here. So it has managed to continue to push higher, but right now it is having a little bit of a pause. If we go over to the daily chart, you can see that pause of the market action there, where it's powered through the 5,000, moved all the way up to about just above the 5,450, then it's fallen back, and it's actually made equal lows and double bottomed around here. Then it's managed to power up, but right now it hasn't been able to take over the highs that have occurred over here. So whilst it is in an uptrend and is holding this uptrend line, it is having some difficulty at the moment getting above this resistance level. So in order to see this uptrend continue, we will need to see it start to make some new highs eventually. And this uptrend line might create enough pressure just to push it through. And if we go back to the weekly chart, you can see it starting to congest upwards and push against this resistance line. So it's going to be very interesting to see if this trend continues to pan out and we have a breakout happen. So moving over to the US markets, I'm just going to save this. This is the weekly chart of the S&P 500, and it's continued to really power ahead since it's moved into blue sky territory. It's been in a nice uptrend channel, and it has now sped up within that channel line and continued to stay quite strong at the top of the channel line up here. And if I move over to the daily chart, you can see here that steeper uptrend line and how it's been holding it very nicely. Right now it's having a little bit of a pullback, but overall this trend is still healthy. So let's move on now. Last newsletter I shared a few trades with you that I had between my daily and my weekly trading systems. Now I predominantly trade two systems in the market. I have my medium-term daily swing trading system and my weekly long-term system. My daily swing trading system will not keep me in the long-term trend of a share. It's my medium-term system that I have more freedom to play with, and its goal is to take out a swing move in an already trending share. I need this system in order to leave my long-term system alone and let it run. And I like to have a system that is more active, but not too active that it adds extra stress to my life. This system only takes up 15 minutes of my time each day, and it involves running a scan across the ASX 300, selecting a trade and placing that trade in the market. Now I don't place a trade every day, only when a trade comes up in the scan that I like, and of course I can only place a trade when I have capital left to trade or my portfolio heat allows me to set a trade. My portfolio heat is something that I use to manage my worst case drawdown in the market at any point in time. So combined with this system, I have my long-term trading system, and this system involves my time once a week in reviewing trades and running a scan as well. And I do this as part of my weekly routine because each weekend I undertake a bit of extra analysis in the market where I look at the world indices and the sector charts as well as my open trades in more detail. The weekly system's focused on finding shares that are in a healthy uptrend and sticking with that trend for as long as it's going to keep on going. I only trade this system in bull markets and it trades long only, where my medium-term system that I trade with CFDs trades both long and it will also trade short in direction when I get signals on the short side. Now the weekly system has the potential for even larger returns, but you have to be prepared to be patient and ride the trend of a good winning trade, and most importantly pyramid and add to that trade along the way to boost your profits. So this system isn't as active as the daily system, but it is nice, slow and steady, and it really suits people that don't have the time for a more active daily trading system, or they want to combine it with an active trading system like I do. So let's continue on and let me share an update on some of the trades from my last newsletter video, as well as a couple more. Now, last newsletter video, I left you at this point over here on this trade that I had just entered a short position on, which was on the 3rd of February. I entered in at $3.51 after it had had a powerful move down, came up in my scan, but it was too big a volatility move. I watched it and waited for a pullback, but that wasn't to be. It had a little rise up and then it started to make new lows again. So because the volume was so strong on the drop and people were selling out of this share, I wanted to get into it as well, and I entered short on that day. Now it did go a little lower after I entered it, so all was looking well. But then it did start to have its pullback, which was fine. I was happy with that because then it had its red candle come back in again. And I thought, great, now it looks like it might be falling over. But of course, I never know what the market's going to do. And that wasn't the case. My stop loss was sitting at this point here, which had moved slightly my way as it had made some new lows in my direction. So as it continued along, it then jumped up and moved through my stop loss. So I was actually exited out of the trade on that day, which was the 21st of February at $3.91 on that day here. It powered up a little more before it has collapsed, but it hasn't done a whole lot since and moved any lower past where I entered it. So I held that trade for a total of 21 trade days, and I made a negative 11.5% return on the total trade size. Now this was a CFD margin, so I only had to outlay 10% to open that trade. So I took a loss of 115% on the margin amount. But the good news is that overall it was only a small loss. I always set out to lose no more than 1% of my capital on any one trade based on where I enter the trade and where my stop loss is set. So any losing trade I can lose 1R, which is my risk amount. So in this case, because my stop loss moved down a little bit because the share went my way, I lost 0.66R. So I did take a loss on the trade, but it didn't exceed what I set out to lose on any one trade. So of course this is a good example to show you that not every trade I enter is going to be a winning trade. The setup might look great, it might start to go my way, but if things fail, I have my stop loss in place. So this was one of my bigger losing trades over the last couple of months. And this share was Treasury Wine Estate. So that's a trade that it was. So now let me show you one of my big winning trades that I've had with my daily system over the last couple of months. On the screen here is Leighton Holdings. Now Leighton Holdings had been going up and down, churned sideways and then had this beautiful gap up. Now that was a very big volatility move where it opened high and then closed lower by the end of the day. So it didn't come up in my system because it wasn't a favourable move by the end of the day. It then paused a little bit and then it came up in my system when it started to rise up from that breakout. I liked what I saw because it looked like a continuation from the previous gap move. So I entered on the 26th of February at 1807. Now it just paused for a little bit and then it charged up. And it charged up, rising 26% in 3 trade days. Now that's enough for me to take some profits. Now it's always hard to know whether to close down the entire position for a windfall profit or to sell half. So because it was such a powerful move, also above another round number and very strong volume, I decided just to sell half, tighten my stop loss up on the remainder and let the market tell me what to do with the rest. I find it a lot easier sometimes to sell half and then leave things be with the remainder and let the market tell me what to do. So in this case, 2 trade days later, the rest of the trade was closed. So I closed the rest of the trade on the 12th of March at 21.63. So I held this trade for a total of 14 days, so it was a very quick trade, this one. I made 23% on the total trade size. Now it had a 10% margin outlay also, so based on the margin outlay it was a 230% return on the margin. And the good news is I made a 2.44R multiple. So I took profits of more than double my risk size on this trade. So that's a beautiful winning trade out of my daily system. And the big winners will get between the 2 and 3R multiple wins with this system. Occasionally I'll get a bit higher, but it's my weekly system where I get the really big wins because it has the much longer hold time. So let's jump on over and check out my weekly system trades and how they've been going. Now, last newsletter video update, I shared 2 weekly system trades with you. One of them was this one here that I already had held for quite a period of time, and I'm still holding this trade. So the update on this one is that this trade is still open and running. I entered in it back on the 26th of October 2012. I bought some more in mid 2013, and I bought some more at the end of 2013. And I buy according to my trading plan rules of when pyramid points are reached. Now I will not buy anymore, and I will just continue to hold this trade with my trailing stop loss active and receive dividends along the way as well. So to date, this trade has been held for 529 trade days. Currently, based on where its stop loss is sitting on the chart at $51.26, I have made a 46% return on the trade so far if I am stopped out of this trade tomorrow. And I would have made a 6R multiple return if my stop is hit. So I've made 6 times my risk size on this trade. And in order to be profitable in the market, you need to get some big R multiple wins. Now, if you don't know about the R multiple, Google it and you can find out some more information. I have explained it, but it comes from Van Tharp and his book, Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom. And it's all about making sure that no losing trade is any more than 1R loss. And you want your winning trades to be much bigger than that and have some big R multiples in there. So the other trade that I shared with you that I still have open is this one here. I bought this one back in October 2012 as well. I pyramided and bought again in December 2013. In my last newsletter video, the share hadn't moved beyond $3, and I said once it moves beyond $3, I'll get another signal to pyramid, and it did exactly that in mid-February, and so I added to the trade and took my 3rd pyramid into this trade. Now this will be my last entry into this trade, and now I'll continue to leave it run until my stop loss is hit, and also continue to get the dividends along the way. So to date, I've held this trade for 540 days. Now, based on where my stop loss is sitting, which is at $3.14, if I get stopped out of this trade anytime at this stop price, I know I will have made a 49% return on the total trade size and a 5.5R multiple. So as you can see, this is the difference between the long-term and the daily trading system. The swing trading system will only take out a chunk of an already trending share, where the long-term will stay with these trends for as long as they're going to continue on for. Sometimes you do get whipsawed out, and that's just part of the nature of trading. Nothing is perfect, and nothing's going to always work with every trade 100% of the time. But you want to get onto some really big winners out there and get those big R multiples. I've also opened up a couple more trades with my weekly system recently, so let me share one that I've opened up. On the screen here is a share that has been trending beautifully since 2012 when it had its breakout to new highs, and it rose all the way from the dollar mark up to about over $3. Then it paused for 6 months. Now, I've been in many other trades during this period and I can't be in anything. But after its pause, and when it broke out to new highs again and came up in my weekly trading system, I entered into it the next week. It also had moved beyond the round number of $4. So on the 19th of February, I bought into this trade at $4.11. So this trade is just starting out, where the other ones you've seen established for quite some time. So it will be good to be able to continue to share with you over the year what pans out with these weekly long-term trades, as well as some daily trades that I do. And this system is about being patient and just sticking with the trades, where the daily system is a lot more active. And I need something that's more active because when I was just trading the weekly system, I used to fiddle with it too much and I was looking to take profits too early. And my daily swing trading system alleviates that to allow me to leave my weekly system alone and have something that's more active that I also enjoy trading too. And as I mentioned, that doesn't add any extra stress to my life as well. Well, just before I finish up in this video, I just want to let you know about an upcoming event that I've got. I've been invited to speak at the ATAA National Conference, which is on in Melbourne on the weekend of the 9th to the 11th of May. This is a once-a-year 3-day national conference put on by the Australian Technical Analysis Association. So they've invited me to come along and speak along with 11 other world-renowned speakers from across the globe. So all the information about this event is on the ATAA website if you are interested in knowing more about it. Don't forget how important it is to have a trading plan in the market. That is the key to my trading success. If you need help, then check out my book Smart Trading Plans. It's available to purchase from my website or in Kindle version from Amazon. And make sure you have a good look around my website. I have plenty of information on here, and you can also learn about my trading systems and strategies through a course that I have called the Smart Trading Plan and System Development course. I teach in detail these 2 trading systems plus a lot more. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My contact details are in the Contact Us area of my website. Thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to keeping you updated in my next one. Goodbye for now.